UFC 314. We're finally back with a good pay-per-view live Miami, Florida this Saturday. It feels like it's been forever since we've gotten a card worth talking about, worth mentioning. We've been relegated to the slop mines that is the Apex, the Midpex, and just really uneventful fight nights. The Mexico one wasn't too bad. The London one stunk up the night. Card stunk. So finally, we have something really cool, really interesting to talk about. We have Diego Lopes versus Alexander Volkanovski, the return of potentially the featherweight goat. We also have Michael Chandler finally coming back again, fighting. It's been 2 years since we've seen him in the cage against Paddy Pimblett. This is a big jump up in competition for Pimblett. We have Yair Rodriguez, another fighter we just haven't seemed to seen in a while, fighting against Patricio Pitbull, Bellator featherweight champion. He's making his debut in the UFC. This is his first fight. We have a super interesting matchup in Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva. There's a crazy storyline going on between these two. Basically, if you're not aware, it's Bryce Mitchell, Warrior of God, versus Gene Silva, demonic possessed autist. So this fight storyline sells itself. I have an interesting pick for this one. And then since Carlos Prates is not fighting Jeff Neal, who pulled out of this fight, surprise, surprise, Nikita Krylov, Dominic Reyes has been bumped up from the prelims onto the main card. This is a great fight. It is main card worthy, 100%. However, I can't help but admit that I'm really disappointed that we're not seeing the Prates Jeff Neal fight. I'm a big Prates fan. I'm a big Muay Thai fan. And the fact we're just not seeing it on this card when we could have been seeing it is a bit disappointing. But this is a great matchup nonetheless. But before we get to the pay-per-view, we have to start at the early prelims, and they're not the best. They're a bit of slop-filled, let's just say. So like the good little piggies we are, us UFC hardcores, we're gonna eat that up. Yum yum yum. It's what we do every weekend. It's what I've been doing for every weekend for the last 5 years, no matter what the card is. So I'm going to cover it. You might not care. I'll go through them quickly because some of these fights just, there's really not that much to talk about. So starting with Nora Cornell versus Haley Cowan. I've been watching, like I said, 5 years in a row every Saturday. I think I've missed 2 cards from start to finish. A couple I got to watch halfway through. I've never seen either of these women fight ever. Call me a casual. I have no idea who either of these women are. This is opening Miami, Florida, by the way. So, getting that out of the way, when in doubt with WMMA, you pick the most booked woman. I think we can all agree it's Nora Cornhole. I'm going Nora Cornhole. That's my breakdown. Moving on. Tracion Gore versus Marco Tulio. This is slightly more interesting, even though the bump up in skill isn't that high. It's middleweight. They're terrible, let's be honest. Marco Tulio coming off a KO win over Ihor Pateria, who hasn't done that. Tracion Gore, I think he's on a 2-fight win streak. 2 fights by guillotine, by the way, which is pretty impressive. He's very good at that. He basically hung Josh Fremd from the neck until he was dead to get that one. So I just think Marco Tulio's made to buzzsaw through Tracion Gore. He's made to buzzsaw through these like unranked middleweights, like not even top 20, 25, like outside of the top 30. So I'm going with Tulio, first round KO. Tracion Gore doesn't really have anything that impresses me, and Tulio, he should beat him, but it's middleweight. Anything could happen. I'm going Tulio first round KO though. Like I said, I'm not going to break these fights down too much. They're pretty straightforward. Moving on up to the late prelims though. Sumudaerji versus Mitch Raposo. Another fight that I just think like it's kind of one-sided. It should be one-sided. Sumudaerji did not finish Matt Schnell. If you can't finish Matt Schnell at flyweight, then you have no power. A gust of wind KOs Matt Schnell. But I'll cut him some slack. It was at elevation, and he did kind of gas himself out trying to finish Matt Schnell. He is kind of big for flyweight, 5'8". He's not the biggest individual though, so I don't know how he isn't able to keep up a pace. But in his last fight against Charles Johnson, Sumudaerji did get have a competitive fight. Mitch Raposo's just small for the weight class, and that's flyweight. This is the smallest man in the UFC, 5'5", 64-inch reach against a 72-inch reach. This is really, really hard to get past. He's struggled in his previous fights getting past these big reach disadvantages. And I just don't see his grappling being able to control Sumudaerji. He might be able to take him down. I don't think he's going to be able to hold him down. It's so hard at flyweight. It doesn't matter who you are, unless you're Pantoja, swinging overhands, body kicks, and going for the takedowns like a tard, right? Unless you're Pantoja, it's really hard to hold people down in this weight class. So I'm going Sumudaerji decision, like a 29-28. I can see maybe he drops a first round. He might win 30-27. I don't see a KO happening here. Sumudaerji doesn't really have the best of power. He couldn't KO Matt Schnell. Don't be counting on this guy to get any knockouts soon. All right, guys. Moving on. Another midweight bout. Cedric Dumas versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Both of these guys aren't the best, but I think Oleksiejczuk he's better at what he does than Cedric Dumas is. Cedric Dumas, he can grapple and he can kind of strike, but he's not good enough in either one to make me feel confident he's going to be able to get off either discipline in this bout. Whereas Oleksiejczuk, he's scrappy, he's got great cardio, he has decent power, he's KOing light heavyweights, right? He's a middleweight now, which is good. That's his weight class. He was never a light heavyweight. He just wasn't cutting weight. And I can see him landing that left hand to the body. He goes to the body all the time. We've seen Dumas kind of get tired as the rounds go on. Round 3 especially, he's nowhere near as explosive, nowhere near as fast. And I can just see Oleksiejczuk just putting the pressure on him round 1 to round 3, staying in his face, spam chucking that big left hand to the body, big overhand to the head. I can see him eventually catching Dumas and putting him away. I'm going to go with the 3rd round body shot leading to ground and pound strikes on the ground. So 3rd round TKO from a body shot. I just don't think Dumas has anything on the feet or on the ground that will make him win 2 rounds, let alone a finish. He's not finishing it. He's just not doing that. That's not happening. So Oleksiejczuk, 3rd round TKO. Moving on, now we're on to the prelims. This gets a lot better from here on out, all right? These are fights that are way more interesting. We have Darren the Damage Elkins versus Juicy Julian Juicy Erosa. Now, a part of me is thinking, I don't know why, Darren Elkins will just fluke KO Erosa, because Erosa seems to get fluke KO'd by the most random people in the division. He'll choke out Christian Rodriguez, he'll beat an up-and-comer in Hakeem Dawodu, and then he'll just get head kick KO'd by Caceres, or he'll get caught left hook by Padilla, right? Chris Padilla, who just got smoked by Sean Woodson, who's further up on this card. So his consistency, there is no consistency, right? You don't know how he's going to win. You don't know if he's going to win. You don't know if his chin is going to be able to take the damage, right? But Darren the Damage Elkins has no damage. He cannot physically hurt you on the feet. Now he can grapple you, put you to the ground, and get some good ground and pound shots off. But on the feet, he's just so slow. All of his movement looks like he's underwater. It looks like he has 5-pound weights tied to his hands. When you're practicing shadow boxing at the gym, that's what that looks like when Darren Elkins throws. Both of them are vets. They've been in the UFC for a long time. They have lots of fights, 29-11, 30-12. They have plenty of experience between the two of them, but just trust Erosa at this point in his career, at his age. Yeah, okay, he's chinny, but Elkins has no KO power. Whereas all of Erosa's opponents who've beaten him by KO, they do have power. They do have enough, right? And it's not that bad that he's getting fluke chinned by them. They're both on win streaks, by the way. Both of them. Erosa on a 2-fight and Elkins on a 2-fight. Um, I think Orosa gets this done. I think he catches them. They go to the third round. I think the first two rounds are pretty competitive. Some neat scrambles, some fun striking on the feet. Like maybe the most technical, especially from Elkins. But Orosa's a wild man. He never knows. You don't know what he's going to throw because he doesn't know what he's going to throw. So I think third round, they're both tired. They're both beaten up. Elkins is wearing the damage more on his face. For a guy named the Damage, he's the one always getting hammered, it seems like, in his fights. Funny how that works, right? Minus 355 favorite, by the way, Orosa. Yeah. Third round, Orosa, I can see him hit him. Elkins comes in with a sloppy takedown. Orosa hits him with something as he comes in, drops him. Elkins goes for a single leg. Orosa snatches up either a guillotine or a Darce choke. I'm thinking that's the way he's gonna win. I don't see him KOing Elkins like just like flat out or TKOing. I see him hurting him hard enough that he shoots because that's what he's programmed to do, right? Elkins just autopilot mode is shooting for a takedown, and he'll be able to latch up a sub off of that. So I'm going third round. Submission finish, Darce or guillotine. I'm going Darce choke though. I can see that really happening. He's got long arms. He's 6'1" at featherweight, which is ridiculous. So I'm going to Julian Erosa. Third round finish. Moving on. You see these fights are just getting better. Each one. Jim Miller versus Chase Hooper. This should be like a no-brainer. Yeah, the odds are minus 800 to plus 550. Jim Miller's at the point in his career where it's just father time now. That's all there really can be said about it, right? He's still good, he's still dangerous, but after the beating he took from Bobby Green, I just think he's taking too much damage over his career. And Chase Hooper is on the up. He's got 2-3 impressive wins in a row. His striking's looking great. His grappling has always been his strong suit, but the way he's combining the two, he's not just, okay, now I'm striking, and then, okay, now I'm just grappling. He's combining the two together very well. I think it would be too much for Miller. I don't see Hooper KOing Miller or TKOing him. I see him hurting him or just getting Miller too involved into the striking and then taking him down. And then I can see Chase Hooper finishing Miller. He's like the Unk Hunter right now. He just fought Clay Guida. Like, why are we giving Chase Hooper Jim Miller? They could be further apart in age. Let's give him someone closer to his age, right? After this fight, I think Chase Hooper deserves like just outside of the top 15 lightweight division fighter. Like, he stop giving him Millers and the Guidas. Like, we don't, or Borshev was a good fight. Like, that was a good matchup. But even Borshev's like he's 34, 35. He's getting up there in age. Let's see someone younger. Let's see how good Chase Hooper really is. A guy coming off on a win streak. All right. So I'm going Chase Hooper. I'm going to go third round submission. I think I just don't see how Miller is going to get this fight won. I mean, the height, the range, the grappling, even the striking, if they're even, it doesn't matter because I think Hooper's better on the ground. So, yeah. Moving on. Yan Xiaonan versus Virna Jandiroba. I'm laughing because Virna's looking anywhere but me. On my side, she's looking everywhere but at me. Oh, boy. Yan Xiaonan's on a 1-fight win streak. She lost to Weili. Shocker, who doesn't, right? But Tabitha Ricci isn't good. Like, she's cute. She has some wins in the UFC, but I don't think she's good. Yan Xiaonan's good. She is a good fighter. Her weakness is the grappling, but there's a difference, I think, in physique between Virna Jandiroba and Zhang Weili. Like, Zhang Weili, you can just see the muscle on her. She's carrying so much more athleticism, much weight to be able to drag Yan Xiaonan down. And Virna's smaller than her, shorter, longer reach. Like, I want to say Virna, because we've seen Yan Xiaonan lose by getting controlled, right? I just wonder, can she take her down? Can she hold her down? And can she get the finish? If she can't control her with the grappling, like at all, like period, she's just going to get sparked up on the feet. I don't think she'll get KO'd, but she'll just get beaten up on the feet. So, I mean, this fight is a 50-50. It's WMMA. It's always a 50-50. I mean, I'll just go Virna. Like, she does look a little more butch, a little more masculine. So when in doubt, that's the way to pick. You could flip a coin on this one, though. You guys don't really care, do you, though? Moving on. All right, a fight you do care about. Dan Ige versus Sean, take me to your leader, Woodson. He looks like a gray man, like, you know, those little Martians that come out of UFOs. He looks like one of those, but elongated and stretched out so he can fit in with humanity. That's what he looks like. Okay, like he came out of the flying saucer that fell at Roswell. All right, and the government covered up. He's like 150 years old. Look at him, guys. He's 6'2" in the featherweight division. That's insane. Oh man, I want Ige to win. I mean, Ige is such a fun fighter. He's had some close fights with good competition. Lerone Murphy, right, who just had a snooze fest fight against Emmett. Diego Lopez, he took him to a decision, right? Won the third round. He's good. He's fun too. Like he gets these fun, exciting KOs. But man, his one weakness throughout his entire career has been tall, rangy strikers. I don't think you could like morph together, breed with eugenics, a more difficult fight for Dan Ige to go up against in Sean Woodson. Like you in a lab, you couldn't even do it, right? Like this is just the worst luck of the draw, cosmic interference for Dan Ige to fight Sean Woodson. 7-inch reach disadvantage. And Dan Ige doesn't have wrestling. I don't see him being able to take Sean Woodson down. I don't know how he's going to be able to hit him. Woodson's great at using his range. It's the one good thing I'll say about him is he's good at using his range. I mean, he better be with freak proportions like that. Gumby, Roswell, gray little one alien looking. Just look at him. Look at this freak. I mean, the odds are saying the same thing too. -170 plus 142. It's going to be a hard fight for Ige. If he does win, it's by KO. It's by catching him with an overhand and then finishing him on the ground. But Ige fumbles finishes. Like he's just not. If he doesn't spark you out with one, it's just so hard for him to get the win. He'll fumble a finish like he did against Lerone Murphy, right? How is he going to be able to do that against Woodson? He's 6'2". You're 5'7". You're getting jabbed at range. Get ready to get jabbed at range, little buddy. Little leg kicks, jabs, holding the hand. I can see Sean Woodson holding the hand out. Yeah. Woodson, point fighter, decision, 30-27. All right, moving on. Main event, here we go. All right, don't go for a bathroom break on these fights, okay, guys? You gotta watch these fights. And, some of these prelims you can skip out. WMMA. Don't even show up. Don't even turn on the TV for that first one. This pay-per-view, you're watching every single fight. Nikita the Miner Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. Now, I'm gonna bring up 2 points here, and that's gonna skew my pick either way, depending on how I convince myself to you. Krylov's been out for like 2 years, okay? And I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard online in the rumor mill, a little bird told me he was out with a shoulder injury. Now, was it as bad as Yuri's? Remember when Yuri had his? No, maybe, I don't know. He's been out for 2 years though. That's a long time to be out. In your prime, wasting away those years. That, or he's been, fighting in a certain conflict in a certain part of the world for the big R. You know what I'm saying? For the big R. Some of those guys. If you know anything about his politics, right? Might be using his prime to fuel that instead of his MMA career. Who knows? Dominic Reyes coming off a 2-fight win streak. Us Ray cells, we're winning, okay? We're winning. 2 finishes. Anthony Lionheart Smith. Yeah, I don't count that as a win. I mean, he won, but who is Smith beating nowadays? Don't say Petrino. I don't want to hear that. Fluke win. He beat Anthony Smith, and he beat kickboxer Dustin Jacoby. He beat Dustin Jacoby, TKO'd him too. Very impressive after getting rocked. So I think Reyes, his chin is back. He's not taking as much damage. He's still getting hit. His defense isn't quite there still, but he's wearing the damage better, right? He's got his confidence back. He's in the swing of things. I think if Nikita Krylov just doesn't come out like a madman in the first round, blitzes Reyes, I think Reyes can weather that storm. If he does, I'm not saying if, I don't think so, but if he can weather that storm, round 2, round 3, he's going to get the finish against Krylov. He's got great anti-wrestling, right? Jon Jones can take him down, can hold him down. Is Nikita Krylov going to do that? I don't think so, right? Like, you're not taking Reyes down. So it's between, does Krylov have ring rust? Is he just going to come out swinging, blitzing Reyes? I think it's the only way Krylov wins, but he's good at that. He did that to Gus, just got in his face, started throwing, KO'd him, right? Washed Gus, though. Ryan Spann, he got into a grapple fest with him and then submitted him, but Ryan Spann is one of the dumbest fighters in UFC history. So I don't really rate that one either, but Spann KO'd Reyes, but MMA, like, Reyes beat Jon Jones, so MMA math doesn't work. I was going Krylov. I was leaning Krylov, but now that I've said all this, I'm going Reyes. I think he wins. He loses the first round, but I think he rallies back, wins the second and third. I don't see him getting a finish. Krylov's pretty hard to finish, but I do see him, and he's underrated. Krylov's very underrated, but I think I'm leaning towards Reyes. 2-year layoff, man. Shoulder injury. Prime, right? You're on the pay-per-view. It's a lot of pressure in your first fight back in a long time. I'm going Reyes. All right, moving on. Bryce, Warrior of God. Let's go fishing, brother. Versus Gene, the devil possessed, the demon possessed Silva. All right, the autistic king, let's just call him. Now, the odds say Gene Silva, no doubt, will win. That's what the odds are saying. But I want you to remember a fight Silva had not too long ago where he missed weight against Charles Jourdain, a Canadian male MMA fighter. Let that sink in. Okay? Picture it in your head, all right? Mostly a striker. Jourdain is mostly a striker. He got out-grappled by Jourdain. Not out-grappled, but he got taken down like 4 times. I rewatched that fight. Silva missed weight by 3 pounds. Jourdain took him down 4 times at featherweight. He's now a bantamweight, Jourdain. He's not even in the same weight class anymore. You're telling me Bryce Mitchell, who's a big featherweight, 5'10", he's not like muscular build-wise the biggest guy, but he's tall. He's long and rangy, 70-inch reach advantage. Okay, maybe not as rangy as I think, but he is big. He's not a Jourdain, right? Like, he is taller than Jourdain. He is very strong too. He's picking up Ige and dumping him in round 3 in their fight. If Jourdain can take you down multiple times, not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times, I think Bryce Mitchell can do it, and I think Bryce Mitchell can sub him. I really do. I think Bryce Mitchell's getting slept on in this fight because of the things he's said, because of the narrative, because Silva's aura maxing every single fight. Like, sure, okay, he KO'd a cannon Melsik Bagdasaryan. Whoop-de-doo. The Drew Dober fight was impressive, but like, Dober's nearing the end of his career. He doesn't have it anymore. He's slow, lightweight, very simple. It's like a tailor-made matchup for Silva to just kind of paint a tapestry on, right? Paint a masterpiece on. I just don't see, this weight cut, featherweight, against a guy who specializes in grappling. He's so good at it. Like, take away the fact of his religion and all the things he said, right, on his podcast. You know what I'm talking about. He's very good at grappling. Like, he controls people well. He has submissions. His striking isn't bad. Like, it's not amazing, but it gets the job done. He dropped Barboza with a shifting left hand, I think it was. That's impressive. I know Barboza is a lot older and his chin isn't there anymore, but still, I think people are just discounting him because of the things he's said and the personality he has and the narrative this fight has. I really do think this is a big underdog pick, but I think Bryce Mitchell can take him down. And if not sub him, I think he can hold him and control him for 3 rounds or 2 rounds and then just survive the third or survive the first round and control him for round 2 and 3. I think he's really motivated for this fight too. And he's gotten a win, KO'd Kron Gracie. I mean, whatever, but still, that's a win, right? He's got some of that confidence back. You can tell this fight means a lot to him. I've been keeping an eye on the interviews this week, and Bryce Mitchell's really, really focused and locked in. He's going to exercise this demon live on pay-per-view, all right? And I'll be cheering for him. So, Bryce Mitchell decision, I'm going to go. Moving on. Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. I think 3 years ago, Pitbull coming over from Bellator probably would be able to get this done, but now at this stage of his career, he's been TKO'd not too long ago, and not his last fight, but the second to last fight. There's some Japanese no-name in Ryzen, right? I just don't think he has it to compete at this high level. The UFC skill level is night and day compared to Bellator. Like, look at Michael Chandler, 2 wins in the UFC. He's made it competitive with other people, but he just can't get a win. He can't get a win. He's close, but he can't get it. And I think Chandler's better than Pitbull. So, but then again, like Yair could get, he's flimsy. You can just like take him down. You can run into him and just he falls over like a stack of cards. I don't get it. I mean, he could get grapple graped, everyone's favorite, but I'm thinking Yair's explosiveness, his creativeness on the feet, his creativity on the feet. I think that's good enough and crazy enough to throw Patricio Pitbull off of his game. He's used to seeing like, the jab, the cross, the leg kick, big calf kick, right? You watch Bellator fights, they're very basic. Like there's nothing, very few of them have something crazy or unique or X factor about them. They all kind of fight NPC-ish, right? Like MMA fighter build. You can't, when you're used to that level of competition and you move up to the big leagues, and the UFC is the biggest league, right? Hands down. I think it'll be incredibly hard for him to, one, break that distance, because Yair is going to just keep it at range, and then 2, even be able to connect or land anything on Yair. I think it's going to be really hard. So I'm going Yair. Good to see him like switching stances, blasting that left leg body kick, hit him in the liver, dropping him, and then finishing him. Pitbull's hard to finish, but he just got TKO'd. So is he really? I'm going Yair Rodriguez finish, 3rd round finish, left leg, body shot, liver, drops him, pounces on him, finishes him on the ground. That's my prediction. Moving on. Michael Chandler. Speaking of Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. This is a close fight, actually. I'm surprised. Minus 148 for Pimblett. Makes sense. Plus 124 for Michael Chandler. I think this fight's going to be, it can go 2 ways. Pimblett smokes Chandler in like a round. They get caught up throwing at each other. Pimblett drops him and then snatches up a submission, or Chandler chins Paddy while they're throwing at each other, because both of them aren't the most technical, right? I think Chandler is a little bit more crisper with the striking. Like he throws good straight shots when he chooses to, when he's not winging overhands and loading up from Timbuktu. But how many times am I going to say, oh, I think Chandler can catch you, can hit you. But then when you think about his old fights, who has he done that to? Dan Hooker, right? Tony Ferguson, the ghost of Tony Ferguson from 20 Christmas Past, right? I just don't. Michael Chandler has made a career out of almost winning, out of just coming close, but not finishing. And I think his age, and this is a common theme this card, like the age at a certain point Doesn't matter how much of a specimen you are. He looks like a little mini cannonball, a little Mike Tyson. I think it just gets in your way. Paddy's on the rise. Chandler's on the decline, right? He doesn't want to fight in God knows how long. I think people are underestimating Pinlet's striking. He's kind of like a lightweight DDP. He just throws, and it's not the cleanest, it's not the prettiest. And you think, oh man, this guy's gonna get chinned. Like, how did he leaves his chin up in the air, right? When he throws his jab, the hand is down here, but it doesn't matter. He's winning. It doesn't matter. He's winning. He's gotten KOs, he's gotten submissions. Who cares? It's working. Same thing with DDP. Who cares? He doesn't care. And that's why they win. They're not looking for the perfect strike. They're not trying to be all technical, right? He's not a UK NPC British fighter, which I'm going to make a video about soon, so tune in for that. But he has a style. It's goofy, but it works for him. And he hasn't lost officially yet in the UFC. Chandler finds a way to lose. It doesn't matter how good he is. He just finds a way to lose. He finds a way to throw the fight away. Can I trust him to do the things he needs to do to win? No, I can't. Negative fight IQ Chandler. So I'm going Pinlet, dropping him, subbing him. I'm going round 1. I don't even think this is going to go to round 2. I think this is just going to be a sprint round 1. Whoever lands cleaner is going to be the one to win the round. I don't think Pinlet KOs him, but I think he will submit him eventually, right? However, it's 5-round co-main. If Chandler makes it to the end of round 3, live bet on Chandler to win. I can see him finishing Pinlet in round 4 or 5. Pinlet slows down. We've seen him tired. You get tired in fights, it's normal, but I think he'll have a hard time trying to keep the fight competitive in round 4 and 5 if he doesn't get him out of there in the first 2, right? So Pinlet, submission, finish. A lot of finishes on this card. I'm hoping that happens. Okay, if you were to ask your mom, hey mom, Diego Lopez, Alexander Volkanovski, don't tell her anything. Just give those 2 names. Show the pictures of these 2 fighters that the UFC has on their official website. You tell me who's going to win this fight. I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, your mom is going to say the guy with the hair like Tom DeLonge from Blink-182. That's who she's going to go with. Who in their right mind is picking Volk? Now, I've seen the Instagram photos. He's looking great. He's shredded. This is his lightweight against Makhachev rematch, short notice fight weight picture. It's terrible. But I'm not going to let it influence me, but it kind of is already thinking about it. But that is a horrible picture. UFC, please change that. That is not what he looks like, for the love of God. Anyway, that wasn't even his last fight at featherweight. He fought Topuria. He looked fine at featherweight against Topuria. Why are they using this photo? Anyway, Volk is on a 2-3 fight losing streak. 2 by KO, 1 by decision. Close fight against Makhachev. Lopez, since he's lost Evloev in his first fight in the UFC, he's been on a tear. He's been on a crazy win streak against good, steady competition. In his prime, I think Volk beats Lopez, no problem. No problem. Just like he beat Yair. He entertains the grappling round 1, round 2, takes him down, tires him out. Round 3, starts putting the pace on him, breaks him, TKOs him. Not because Lopez is hurt from the punches, but he's just so tired he can't defend himself anymore. Because Lopez gasses out. That's Volk in his prime. He's not in his prime anymore. I know he looks great physically. I know he does. But he's just not in his prime anymore, guys. It's not there. I want him to win. I'd love for Volk to win and then fight Evloev, smoke Evloev. Maybe fight one more person at featherweight and then dip off into the sunset. The greatest featherweight fighter of all time. Breaks the 35 curse, right? But I just, that's a fairy tale ending. Fairy tale endings don't happen in the UFC. especially at the highest level. This isn't Robbie Lawler fighting Nico Price, okay? This is a young, hungry, dangerous up and comer who just seems to have everything falling into place for them, right? And like I said, in his prime, I think he handily beats Lopez. I'd be confident to pick him. I was confident about Volk beating Yair. Not anymore. He's lost twice. Flatline cold by Topuria. I know it's Topuria. Lopez has the same power though, almost. I know Max crazy chain and Topuria cracked it, but like Lopez is KOing people with just these short shovel uppercuts. He's hurting them with like lancing overhands. That kind of power. Can Volk evade that for 2 rounds? If he's smart, I mean, and he is one of the smartest champions we've ever seen in the UFC. You know, in the cage, outside the cage, his IQ is crazy. I don't get why he's taking short notice fights and 2 months after Makhachev fighting Topuria, like just not smart career management whatsoever. But in the cage, he is very smart. I think his time's up. I really do. Could be totally wrong, just like the Pimlet Chandler fight, just like the Reyes one. And then based off these photos, come on, like who are you gonna pick? So I'm going Lopez round 1 KO. I can just see it. I can just see it happening. And it'll be sad. I think he'll retire right there. I think that's it for him if he loses this fight. Don't think he'll stick around and fight like an Aljamain, which I think he'd win because Sterling poses zero danger on the feet, but I think it will be too big of an ego death, too big of an ego blow for him to want to continue in the sport. So I'm going Lopez first round KO. If it makes it out of the first, I think Volk can win. Volk will win. Volk will win if it makes it out of the first. But if it's a first rounder only, yeah, Lopez is finishing it. So those are my picks. Saturday, April 12th, UFC 314. Enjoy. Don't bet on my picks. You just don't do that. You're smarter than that.